Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, Introduction, and today is day 11. So we are, yes. So we reach this point that unless a person is able to understand the knowledge of the complete, that means Krishna, he will always feel a sense of incompleteness within his consciousness. And how it works? A person will set a goal for himself, and even if he reaches that goal, he will find a sense of unfulfillment in his life because he is not able to truly connect with his real self. Just like if I'm hungry, then if I'm not given food and I'm given all kind of other things, I won't be satisfied. The real knowledge is that we are servants of Lord, and when we are engaged in Krishna's service, then we feel a sense of completeness. So now we go forward. So Bhagavad Gita contains the complete knowledge of Vedic wisdom. Complete knowledge of Vedic wisdom means knowledge of the living entity, knowledge of the Supreme Lord, and the relationship of the living entity with the Supreme Lord, and the process to revive that relationship, which is called Sambandh, Abhideya, and Pravijan. Sambandh means relationship. What is the relationship of the living entity with the Supreme Lord? Abhideya means what is the process to revive that relationship. And Prayojan means what is the ultimate purpose of life. These are the only three things which are the subject matter of Vedas. And the Bhagavad Gita very clearly explains this. That's why it is the summary of complete knowledge of Vedic wisdom. All Vedic knowledge is infallible, and Hindus accept Vedic knowledge to be complete and infallible. So these two words have to be understood. Infallible means which cannot go wrong, which is perfect, and complete means after knowing this knowledge, nothing else remains to be known. Is it okay? Say if the job is complete, that means nothing remains in that job to be done. Similarly, once a person becomes proficient in Vedic knowledge, he does not need to know anything more. Before we go forward, we must remember the purpose of education, or what is education. Education means to educate a person so that he becomes liberated from the bondage of material existence. So the Vedic knowledge is complete because it gives complete knowledge in regard to this topic, how we can become fully liberated and go back home, back to Godhead. So that's why it is complete. And infallible means if a person follows the knowledge which is prescribed in the Vedic literatures, he will surely get success because the knowledge is exactly correct. I give an example. Just like somehow, if we approach a doctor, the doctor may or may not know the cure of my disease. Many times the doctor will say, try this medicine. So that medicine may work or not work. So he does not exactly know the cure of my disease. So his knowledge is not infallible. It can fall, it can go wrong. But Vedic knowledge is infallible because it is exact. It is when the truth is, if you want to know the truth, we should approach the Vedas, because Vedas tell us the truth because they know the truth. They're coming from Krishna. For example, cow dung is the stool of an animal. And according to Smriti or Vedic injunction, if one touches the stool of an animal, he has to take a bath to purify himself. But in the Vedic scriptures, cow dung is considered to be a purifying agent. One might consider this to be contradictory, but it is accepted because it is Vedic injunction, and indeed by accepting this, one will not commit a mistake. Subsequently, it has been proved by modern science that cow dung contains all antiseptic properties. So, Vedic knowledge is complete because it is above all doubts and mistakes. And Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. So what is this point? See, as per the Vedas, if we touch the stool of any animal, including a human being, we are impure and we are supposed to take bath. Now, that person may be a very strong, very elevated, not strong, very elevated researcher or philosopher or a Brahmana who is considered to be otherwise purified. Still, his stool is not pure. But cow, who is an animal, her stool is considered to be pure. Pure to the extent that it is used in yakya. You know that when they make a Vedi means a place, altar of sacrifice, that is made by cow dung. It is as per the Vedas that when the demigods come to this earth, they don't sit on earth. But if that earth is smeared with cow dung, it is considered pure and the demigods will sit in that place. Is it not astonishing? I mean, is it not too much astonishing? It is actually very astonishing. Suppose if you want to clean your home, will you clean it with stool water? Can you imagine doing that? I mean, it's obnoxious. When the thought is very, very strange. And how can you do that? But you must have seen in temples also. Even in temples, cow dung mixed with water is used for cleaning. So, what the point is being mentioned here is that there is no point in doing research in Vedic knowledge, although it goes against logic, and logic must not be applied on Vedic literatures. Dry logic means which has no basis on Vedic foundation. Just like I give an example, if a logician will say, if the dung of the stool of the cow is pure, then how much more pure will be the dung or stool of a purified Brahmana? No, that will not work. Vedas do not say that. And as Prabhupada explained that even science is saying that cow dung has antiseptic properties, fine. But you see, science can fully not validate what is pure and impure. They have no conception of pure and impure. They might use the most impure things just because they're antiseptic, just like they were using alcohol for disinfecting our hands. But once you wash your hands with alcohol, our whole body is polluted. We need to take a bath for that. And after disinfecting ourselves, so-called disinfection, a person was doing other things. Are you able to follow this point? Disinfection does not mean that that object is pure or that vastu is pure, that material is pure. So although science can verify to a certain extent that cow dung has antiseptic properties, but does not mean that it can verify that it is pure also. I hope this is clear. So what we must try to learn is that we must not depend on science to prove the Vedic version, because it's not always possible for science to prove what is spoken in the Vedas. That has to be learned. Science has no answer for what is consciousness. Science has no answer how we can be liberated. Neither science has an answer to who we are. It is very advanced in covering what we are, but it has no answer to tell us who we are. So very important point that we have to learn is, because Vedic knowledge is infallible and Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge, so Vedic knowledge being not the question of research, Bhagavad Gita also is not a question of research. This has to be simply accepted. Whatever is spoken in Bhagavad Gita must be accepted as it is, because it is truth. It is not exaggeration, as Krishna will say later on, that he is the source of the whole material, everything which exists. It is not an exaggeration, it is the truth that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one has to be accepting it as it is. Okay? Our research work is imperfect because we are researching things with imperfect senses. We have to accept perfect knowledge, which comes down as is stated in Bhagavad Gita by the parampara, disciplic succession. We have to receive knowledge from the proper source in disciplic succession, beginning with the supreme spiritual master, the Lord himself. and handed down to a succession of spiritual masters. Arjuna, the student who took lessons from Lord Shri Krishna, accepts everything that he says without contradicting him. Now, you see, a person may have doubt in what the teacher is telling, and that doubt can be clarified, but not without believing in what the teacher is telling. Just like Lord Krishna told that he gave this knowledge originally to Sun God. So Arjuna had a small doubt that you are of my same age. So how am I to understand that you gave this knowledge in the beginning to the Sun God? So this doubt is valid. He did not say that, Lord Krishna, that you are speaking nonsense. No, this cannot happen. He says, how am I to understand? That means this is truth, but because of my limitations, I am not able to understand. Please explain in a way so that I can understand. This is how we approach the spiritual master. We must remember that we are not equal to the spiritual master because he has an empowerment, and that empowerment is the knowledge which he has received in parampara. Is that okay? The other person who is receiving the knowledge must receive it submissively, and only then the spiritual master can speak something. I was returning from Mangalarati, and one person on bike, one devotee, so he said, Prabhuji, can I ask one question? I have 2 minutes. I said, okay, this is not the proper way to ask, but okay, go ahead. I have lost faith in spiritual master. I said, okay, let me go. So if you have lost faith in the spiritual master, then who am I to give you faith in the spiritual master? Once you have lost faith in Guru, a spiritual master, then why are you making Guru? Why making me the Guru, the spiritual master? You will lose faith in me also. So a person who does not have this faith, he is not qualified to be a student. We must always remember, we put faith when we have no option. Just like, how do we know what is the name of our father? We have to accept the version of our mother, and that version is absolutely correct. It is not that each one of us are being put in darkness regarding the identity of our father, just because we can't know it ourselves. I'm repeating the same point. None of us can know the identity of our father on our own. Does not mean that none of us know the identity of our father. Did you catch this line? We can't know our father on our own, but does not mean that we can't know exactly who's our father. We can know by submissively hearing from the mother. It's very simple, very simple. You exactly know who's your father. And you see, out of affection, the mother and father, they explain to the child, we are your mother and father, because that is their affection. They want to tell the truth to the child. Similarly, Lord Krishna is explaining out of affection, Vakshami hit kamya, desiring your welfare, I am speaking. Lord Krishna is speaking, 10th chapter. So a devotee becomes happy and submissively accepts what the Lord says, understanding that the Lord has inconceivable potencies and he can do anything. Something which I can think and something also which I cannot think, still that Lord can do. Clear? With this natural faith, he accepts the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. This is called parampara system. Okay. One very important point, if I am hearing Bhagavad Gita from someone, we must check, is he speaking what previous acharyas have spoken, or is he telling me something from his own mind? If he says, I have not heard Bhagavad Gita from anyone else, means in the parampara, and I'm just telling you my realization, then you must realize that he's cheating you. I would like to make fun of one of my students. He was explaining in Hindi, 3rd chapter, the cycle of chakras. Chakra means how the chakra of yagyas, cycle of yagyas. So she had some confusion and she asked me a question and I was late in response. And then she made her own cycle of yagyas and included, and then explained to the students also. And then I said, no, afterwards I just replied to her, this is the cycle and this is your mistake. Oh, because Prabhuji, you were late, I connect, I pray to the Lord and Lord inspired me like this. No, it does not work like that. Don't think yourself that you are so connected that you can directly take instruction from the Lord. It will be, most probably it will be instruction from your intelligence which is corrupted. I did not say to her, but I'm just saying we must confirm. Hear very carefully. If you want to repeat, make sure that we have heard correctly, because otherwise we might be the founder Acharya of a wrong parampara. Okay, so we must follow the founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada and make sure that we are speaking correctly. We see, always remember, whatever you speak, the other fellow does not know. He's literally kind of blind. So now if I tell him to do something wrong, whatever wrong he will do, it will be my responsibility. It's not so easy to speak Bhagavad Gita. Hear very carefully. If you are not clear, you ask again and again. But when you repeat, it is important that you understand, because whatever you tell others and whatever they will do, good or bad, we will get the karma. Is it okay? It's very, very good and very, very dangerous also. Suppose somebody asks you, Prabhuji, can we eat grains on Ekadashi? I say, yes. So he will eat, he will go to hell, and because we have inspired, so we will also go to hell. So be very careful in understanding it. If you don't understand, then you again ask. See, this, try to understand. Please try to understand. Whenever there is Vedic knowledge, the purpose is so that the student is very, very clear with the knowledge, because that knowledge is meant for his transformation. Just like if I take a medicine, it's not simply to know the medicine. I must know exactly what is the purpose of the medicine and how the medicine has to be taken, because the medicine is meant to give some transformation. So it's not something just like the way we are trained now. You remember something and you just, vomit in the papers and then you forget about the knowledge. No, this knowledge is transformation, for transformation. So we must understand it properly. So he says, without contradicting him, one is not allowed to accept one portion of Bhagavad Gita and not another. No, we must accept Bhagavad Gita without interpretation, without deletion, and without our own whimsical participation in the matter. This is very, very interesting. You see, without interpretation, just like I give a funny interpretation. There is a group of people, some ladies, so they say, when in the Bhagavad Gita is spoken, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, it means the Supreme Lord spoke. Very simple. There is no need for interpretation. But it's no. There is Lord Shiva within Lord Krishna who is speaking. Now this is unnecessary interpretation. What is deletion? There was a person, now he's dead, who said Bhagavad Gita is very nice only after chapter number 3. Because he likes Karma Yoga. So beyond that, he does not accept Bhagavad Gita. So who gave him the authority to delete all the remaining chapters as if they are of no value? Well, some people are saying Lord Shiva or Shiv Baba. Well, the Shiv Baba or Lord Shiva, I don't know what they want to speak, but something not Krishna, like that. They give interpretation. And whimsical participation. What is whimsical? Just like I give an example, that devotee, even devotee only, gave a whimsical interpretation without any confirmation from the previous authorities. That person was explaining on his own. So best is, if we don't understand a passage, we ask from superiors. Understand it clearly and then explain. Things are not difficult, but once we don't understand, then we will speak wrongly only. This is very, very, very important. In material affairs, we might guess something and it might be correct. But in spiritual affairs, we cannot guess. Just like, how can you guess who is your father? Just cannot guess. Maybe this, maybe. We don't do that. Okay. The Gita should be taken as the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is received from transcendental sources, and the first words were spoken by the Lord himself. Why? Because since he is the source of everyone, only he knows about himself. Somebody asks a question, But some people say that Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Kal, not Krishna, like Sant Rampal. How to deal with them? I met one of his followers. So use the same point, Mr. Rampal or his followers. You can ask them, how do you know that Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Kal? In any of the passages, has it been spoken Shri Kal Uvacha? So you see, whenever such interpretation is there, the Lord is extremely displeased. You try to understand this. When we read Bhagavad Gita as it is, the Lord is pleased in our heart. And when we speak it, the Lord in the heart of those who are hearing also becomes pleased. What an amazing mercy. What an amazing opportunity to draw the mercy of the Lord. We can only draw the mercy of the Lord if He is pleased with us. So you can see, since you have taken the name, so I am repeating, Mr. Rampal, with all due respect, is he interested in seeking the mercy of the Lord? And the answer is no. Otherwise, he would have not spoken such nonsense. So you try to understand, like I am trying to speak, I'm not glorifying myself. It's a simple desire. I am a very insignificant person. May Krishna be pleased by this discussion. So as far as possible, my intelligence goes, I'll try to explain what Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. This is such a simple point which they miss. I give an example. I was giving class in Goshala and some students were outside they were chatting or something. Then I told one of the students, say, please go and tell them if they want to come to class. Those who want to come to class, they may come to class. So it was a suggestion, not an order. But then the student who went up to the door, he said, Prabhuji is telling everyone to come inside. Now see, there are two different statements. I was only humbly suggesting that those who want to come to class, please do come. And the person who said was completely different. So my intention changed. So this is called Viveksha. With what intention Lord Krishna wanted to speak a particular shloka, if that is repeated, the Lord will be happy with us, and the Lord within my heart will be happy, and the Lord in the heart of the hearer will be happy. And in that way, both will be pleased, both will be purified. Please remember this point all your life. Krishna's mercy is the active ingredient in the advancement of a devotee's life. Unless Krishna is merciful upon us, unless we receive His mercy, we cannot make any spiritual advancement, what to talk of big advancement. So whatever we are doing is for the pleasure of Krishna. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam. We are practicing so that we can please Krishna. So this kind of attitude cannot exist in such people. So we must not hear from them. Okay. And the first words were spoken by the Lord Himself. Now the question was how to deal with them. Don't deal with them, because they will not listen to you. Okay. The words spoken by the Lord are called apaurushaya, meaning that they are different from words spoken by a person of the mundane world who is infected with 4 defects. Apaurushaya means he is not a Purusha, who is not a person of this world. So apaurushaya means belonging to a Purusha. Belonging to a Purusha means Purusha or person of this world will make mistakes, but apaurushaya means they will be free from mistakes, which will be understood here. A mundaner is sure to commit mistakes. You must have heard, to err is human. It is just try to accept it that we will make mistakes. We do make mistakes. Now why do we make mistakes? Because our senses are imperfect. Karna apatav. Patu means expert. Apatu means not expert. Karna apatav. Karna means hearing. So hearing means by saying hearing, all other senses have to be included. The inexpertise of senses, because our senses are limited. That's why, they are defective. That's why we are sure to commit mistakes. Just like I told that student, although I had given lecture on this shlokas earlier, she has heard probably, I don't know whether she heard or not, still she did not understand properly. So there is sure to commit mistakes. Then invariably illusion. Illusion means we are not able to see things as they are. That is called illusion. So when I'm not able to see things as they are, how can I explain things as they are? Is it not simple? Simple point to understand. Then because I make mistake and I'm an illusion, so I have a tendency to cheat others because I want to cover my mistakes. Just like example is given that there was a plague in Europe. So they thought that the plague was due to cats. So they killed all the cats, but the plague was due to rats. And because the cats were destroyed, the rats increased and plague further spread in the Europe region. So many times scientists make so many mistakes. Not only scientists, everyone makes mistakes, but to cover up, they say, like this, like that. You see, there's a tendency in all of us, as long as it is not known to public, it's okay. Even in our homes, if some corner is dirty, we just put a towel on it. Have you not done this? See, so if some guest is coming, they will not see, at least just put a towel or some cloth. So there is a tendency to cheat. This is a very important point. In this world, any conditioned soul is conditioned or programmed to cheat. Can you hear this? So if you feel that you have been cheated, don't be angry. You say, I am in correct place. Correct place means I know this place, this material world, we are supposed to be cheated. Every moment, I mean, in business dealings, even in family dealings, people cheat left and right. Even kids cheat. Everyone cheat. We should not blame them. They are not liberated. They are forced to cheat. It's difficult to actually not cheat. You will see in your own heart, as we get purified, we don't want to cheat. Even that the same student, when she heard what is the proper understanding, the next day she said, okay, I'll correct myself and again present the proper understanding of the shloka. You will see this, that the more you chant nicely, the more we hear Bhagavad Gita, the tendency, the inclination to cheat others will go away from our heart. We'll feel, not even think about cheating others. Very good quality which will come upon us. Okay. And is limited by imperfect senses. So all these difficulties come because of imperfect senses only. Because the senses are imperfect, that's why a person will commit mistake. Then, and because it will be like this. Because we are limited in our senses, the senses cannot perceive properly. So we will be illusioned, we will be committing mistakes, and to commit after we have committed a mistake, we will try to cover it up. Example also is given. You can try it. You take orange and then you take sweet. It will appear bitter. Or you must have noticed, suppose you take a very like kheer and then you take mango juice. So mango juice will appear pale. Pale means not so sweet. And then in the summer season, cold shower is feeling very good. And same water in the winter season appears very unpalatable. You must understand this point. Sometimes we hear a sound from outside and we say, oh, this must be going, but that person may not be there. Something else might be there. So that's why we should understand the knowledge from proper sources. With these four perfect imperfections, one cannot deliver perfect information of all pervading knowledge. Vedic knowledge is not imparted by such defective living entities. It was imparted unto the heart of Brahma, the first created living being, and Brahma in his turn disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples as he originally received it from the Lord. The Lord is Purnam, all perfect, and there is no possibility of his becoming subjected to the laws of material nature. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that the Lord is the only proprietor of everything in the universe, and that is the original creator, the creator of Brahma. In the 11th chapter, the Lord is addressed as Prapitamaha because Brahma is addressed as Pitamaha, the grandfather, and he is the creator of the grandfather. So, no one should claim to be the proprietor of anything. One should accept only things which are set aside for him by the Lord as his quota for his maintenance. Before we go forward, we understand this point. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavye Muhyanti Yat Surya. Tena, by him, by the Lord, the Vedic knowledge was amplified within the heart of Brahmaji when the austerities of Brahmaji became mature. So the Lord, Brahmaji realized Vaikuntha, Brahmaji realized the form of the Lord within his heart, and then he also had a direct interaction with the Supreme Lord. And the Lord told that by my mercy, Yavanaham yatha bhavo yad rupa guna karmakah tatheva tattva vijnanam astute madanugrahat. As I am, as my existence is, as my form is, as my qualities are, and as my different transcendental activities are, you may understand them as it is by my mercy. It's very clear. It's from second canto Bhagavatam. So the Lord revealed this knowledge within the heart of Brahmaji, and Brahmaji revealed it as it is to his disciple. When Naraji asked Brahmaji, it appears that you are doing or you're creating this universe without any support, just like the spider is creating its web from its own body. So are you the Supreme Lord? But if you are the Supreme Lord, it brings us great dissatisfaction when we see that you are doing austerities. Why the Supreme Lord has to do austerities? But by your actions, it appears that you are independent. So Brahmaji did not say, no, you have correct, you have proper realization, I am the Supreme Lord. No. He very clearly told that Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Lord. I am not the Supreme Lord. Now, there may be a doubt in your heart, Prabhuji, when our senses are imperfect, then how can we even receive the Vedic knowledge as perfectly? Because our ears will not be able to hear correctly. You see, when we hear Vedic knowledge, we don't believe what the senses are speaking about that knowledge. We believe what the Vedas are speaking about that topic. I'll repeat again. When we hear Vedic knowledge, we accept it as it is, even if there is no experience on our behalf. When we accept through our senses, we accept the information which is given to us by the senses. Like sugar is sweet, chili is hot. So all these things we can experience. But when it is told that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is the source of Brahma also, we cannot verify it from our senses. We just accept it. And it is correct. But there is no way, this is impossible in any way to verify this knowledge through our senses. So understanding that my sense perception is limited, I cannot verify the information which has been given to me by the Vedic process of Vedas through my sensory perception. So we reject the faith which comes through our senses. No, we don't accept you. We accept what is the Vedic version as it is, even if there is no experience. This is called Shastric faith, faith based on scriptures. Just like it is told that the Lord's holy name is Krishna, Lord himself. We don't have an experience that saying dosa, 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 that you will get the experience of dosa. Dosa is a material object, but by chanting Krishna, 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 a person becomes very happy. He feels a sense of spiritual happiness. So by accepting the Vedic version, we develop a faith that the Lord's holy name is Lord himself, although I don't have an experience right now because of my impurity. This is how we should accept. So if you suppose somebody asks you, who is God? And you say Krishna is God. Then you say, do you have experience? So you say, yes, I don't have experience, but I have faith that Bhagavad Gita is correct. Again, same, so you can say, you can ask him, do you have experience who's your father? Can you ever have an experience of knowing who's your father? Knowing means knowing directly. Not possible. All your life you have to simply believe. All of us are believing that we were born on a certain date. Is there any way to experience that? No. All our life we are simply believing that we are born on a particular date. Is it not? We were born 1 year after. Actually, in my date of birth, because of some reasons it is mentioned 1983, but my mother told no, it is 1982. So I don't believe what is in my Aadhaar card. I believe what is there. My Aadhaar is my words of my mother that she has told 1982, not 1983, because of some studies reasons they told 1983 officially. So you see, our faith is dependent on hearing from proper sources, even if there is no experience. Okay. There are many examples. So what Prabhupada told in this paragraph, one should understand that the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Lord of Brahmaji also. Brahmaji also is an obedient servant of the Lord. Similarly, everyone else also should understand that we are servants of Krishna and we should engage in his service humbly. There are many examples given of how we are to utilize those things which are set aside for us by the Lord. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning, Arjuna decided that he should not fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. This was his own decision. Arjuna told the Lord that it was not possible for him to enjoy the kingdom after killing his own kinsman. This decision was based on the body because he was thinking that the body was himself and that his bodily relations or expansions were his brothers, nephews, brothers-in-law, grandfathers, and so on. Therefore, he wanted to satisfy his bodily demands. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Lord just to change this view. And at the end, Arjuna decides to fight under the direction of the Lord when he says, Karishri Vachanam Tava. I shall act according to your word. This is a brilliant point. What does it mean? See, when I have some things for myself, that means I will have some people also for myself. So when I say something is for myself, some people are for myself, I am the center of enjoyment. I am the center of that family. I am the center of my whatever job or anything. So the activity is not to be changed. It is our consciousness which has to be changed. And then that will make our life very, very, very peaceful. See, the word is Karishe Vachanam Tava. Not only peaceful, we will be liberated. This is a beautiful point. This is a beautiful. I'll try to explain this point. This is such an empowering statement. You see, when Arjuna was thinking, and how can I fight with my relatives? How can I do this? He had no options. Even if he was considering some options like I will go to jungle, but then he said, no, I'm a Kshatriya. How can I go to a jungle? But how can I fight with these people? So in the bodily platform, when we are identifying with the body, we don't really have any option. And even if those options are, they don't relieve us from the suffering from all the anxieties which we are experiencing. I think everyone can relate with it. Now, as soon as we begin to accept this option, that we are Krishna's servant and engage in same activities for Krishna's pleasure, then Krishna's mercy descends upon us. See, Arjuna was not going to fight to win the battle. He was going to just act on Krishna's instruction. You must have noticed, if some people are parents, that when kids listen to you, you feel happy. I am not saying that whenever they listen to you, it's good for them, because we might be telling them something wrong also, thinking it is good for them. But a sense of happiness comes, this person or this boy or anyone is listening to me. Is that everyone can relate? So when a person says Karishe Vachanam Tava, he is putting himself in a proper footing that I will do what will please Krishna. And that's a choice which every one of us have to make every second in our life. A question has to be asked, will this please Krishna? I'm speaking something, I'm thinking something, I'm doing something. Will it please Krishna? That is the sum and substance of a devotee's life. And basically all training is there just to bring a devotee to this point, that he will learn how to act in line with Krishna's desires. Now you say, how will I know Krishna's desire? Through Shastra, by hearing. Is it okay? So, Karishya Vachanam Tava, when you offer your food to Krishna, you are doing what Krishna is telling. When you pay obeisances to Krishna, you are doing what Krishna is telling. When we are hearing Bhagavad Gita, we are doing what is Krishna is telling. So, the basis of everything is hearing. And you see, Arjuna remained the warrior. So, the quota which was set aside for him was war. Be a warrior. The quota for you is not a Brahmana that just stay in, in some forest and do nothing. No. You are a Kshatriya. The quota for you, the prescribed duty for you is fighting, but fight for Krishna's pleasure. I think this is very clear. So slowly, as we advance in Krishna consciousness, we also realize under the guidance of devotees that what is my quota? What am I supposed to do? It is not immediately clear, but at least slowly it becomes clear. What is my swabhav? What is the prescribed duty for me? It becomes very clear. What is my nature? It becomes very clear. There is no confusion. But as soon as you do this, I shall act according to your word. Please remember that as soon as somebody even accepts that I will try to do what Krishna is telling me, all the mercy of the Lord is on that soul. This is a very, very important point. I will stop here. This is such a nice statement to end with. We'll go forward tomorrow, Krishna willing. I shall act according to your words. One more point. Have you not noticed that we all have a tendency to follow a superior? Even those who are demons, they also have a superior demon to give them order. Everyone, even people around you, try to observe, even people around you who are not devotees, they are non-devotees because they are also following a superior non-devotee, some superior non-devotee guru. So if that tendency is already there, then why not apply it to Lord Sri Krishna? Prabhupada says you are following Stalin or something, some philosopher in Russia. I don't know, Lenin or Stalin, somebody. And we are following Krishna. So the difficulty is that you are following an imperfect person and we are following a perfect person. So the tendency to follow a superior is definitely there in all of us. But then we have to decide whom to follow. If you follow Krishna, we become liberated. If you follow a conditioned soul, we become more conditioned. Before I finish, I said one very nice point. Very nice point I heard today. His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj was explaining that if we want genuine satisfaction, then we must have three things. First is philosophical understanding of scriptures. And we must have association of those who are following that understanding. That means we must be able to see people around us who are actually living with that philosophy, living by that philosophy. And then third is we must be able to practice what is being taught in the philosophy. Are you able to follow this? Siksha must be there. That means theory must be there. If there is no theory, what will you practice? But then there must be people who have practiced this theory and achieved results. So that will give us faith. And then we will also need to practice ourselves to enhance the faith. Very, very important, because you see, whatever is being spoken is correct, but I will get faith if I follow what is being spoken in the classes. So those people who lose faith is because they don't do these three things. Either they don't hear it only, or they don't have association of people who have got result from the practice, or after getting both the things, they don't do it themselves. I mean, it's a kind of independent point, but I just wanted to share with the devotees. It's very, very, very nice. And you see, in our wonderful association of Zoom, we hear Bhagavad Gita. We have association of devotees who are actually living with the principles of Bhagavad Gita. They are chanting Hare Krishna. They are paying obeisances to Krishna. They are offering their food to Krishna. And we also get the strength to do it ourselves. Why will we not transform? Why will we not transform? Think about this. We'll discuss tomorrow. Krishna will. Thank you so much. There are some questions. 1 second. The devotee is asking. He also asked, can you give injunctions from various scriptures other than Bhagavad Gita from other religions like Guru Granth Sahib, Quran, etc. for Krishna as God? So you ask that person, if I have studied Bhagavad Gita, I will speak from Bhagavad Gita only. What mistake you see in Bhagavad Gita that I should study other scriptures? सर्व उपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपाल नंदन पार्थो वत्स सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धम गीतामृतम महत. All the Upanishads are like a cow, and Krishna is the cowherd boy, and Arjuna is like a calf. So, when Arjuna is brought near, then Krishna is drawing out the milk of all the Upanishads in the form of Bhagavad Gita. That means the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads. So, I will be a fool if I give up Upanishadic literature and quote something less. Why should I do that? If just to satisfy your whims, if you don't accept Bhagavad Gita, then you don't accept anything else also. If you don't accept the highest truth or highest evidence, then how can you accept lesser evidences? So that means you will not accept there also. And by the way, we have heard in Guru Granth Sahib also it is explained that how Krishna is God. But since we don't read it and we don't have to read it, we will not quote for your pleasure. We are here to please Krishna, not you. We must remember, whenever we are preaching, do not try to create interest. Try to catch interested people. We will simply waste our time in trying to convince those people who don't have faith. Okay? So, we'll stop now. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.